Hello, welcome to Firearms of America, and today, as you guys can see, we have another Donair boot for review, and this has been requested quite a couple of times already. Donair Vicious. Alrighty, let's take a look. So, if you don't have time to watch the whole review, let me tell you guys, I am very impressed with this boot. I do absolutely love the quality, the way it is built. You can feel the quality right outside of the box. Absolutely barely any complaints, just a few minor ones that I will talk about a little bit later in the review. But if you don't have time to watch the whole review, just let me tell you one thing. They do run a little bit small, so make sure you get half a size, maybe even a whole size extra for yourself, because after all, this is a composite toe, so you don't want your boot to be small and your toe banging on the front of the toe box, because composite toe is gonna hurt. Okay, so if you do have time to watch the whole review, let's get into it. As some of you already know, this review is specifically for my Ultimate Survival Boots section. Basically, if this was your last boot, and after all, this is a work boot, so you might be wearing it for work. So you're at work and something bad happened and you have to survive. This is a survival situation. Like, who knows? Pandemic. People are going crazy and now they're trying to steal toilet paper from each other. Things happen. You never know. So, if this was the boot that you were wearing and you had to run, you had to fight, you had to wear these boots for extended period of time, would this be a good boot to survive in? So how do we make the judgment? Well, we make the judgment based on 8 different criteria. Criteria number 1 is, of course, the comfort level. And in order to test the comfort level, what I do is I do a 5-mile walk and a 3-mile run. Well, I do the 3-mile run first and then I do the 5-mile walk right after without taking off the boots. The total wear time is about 7 to 8 hours. Let me tell you guys, these boots are very, very comfortable, and there are a few things that contribute to that comfort. First of all is the weight. Now, surprisingly, for the size, the 8-inch, right, and for the composite toe, and just an overall a lot of protection that these boots offer, the weight is pretty good. Let's see. Let me tell you exactly how much they are. 29.8. Of course, if you compare these boots to your, any kind of average hiking boot, this would be heavier. Most of the hiking boots are under 20 ounce per boot, just so that you have an idea for the comparison. These are 29, so these are almost 30. But, of course, with all of that, with all of the weight comes all of that protection, which we talk about a little bit later. However, I wanted to mention that for a work boot that is 100% leather, that is 8-inch with a composite toe, these are still fairly lightweight. So compared to other work boots that I have reviewed on this channel, the weight is actually pretty good. Now, that's one of the things that kind of contributes to the comfort. Yes, I did get tired running 3 miles. I got tired after about a mile and a half. It was already hard to run. Yes, of course, because of that extra weight. But nevertheless, I was able to complete the run. Another thing that contributes to the comfort level is the inner sole, and I am a big fan of it. Now, Donair, they are known for a very good inner sole. It's really nothing special, not ortholite or anything like that. But it's their own Donair inner sole, and as you can see, there is it is shaped in a nice way, so it does offer you a good heel support, and it does have some vents, so we'll talk about the breathability and the temperature. This contributes to that as well. Overall, I do like the feel of the inner sole. It's very firm, so you don't have a lot of that jelliness that you usually get in boots like Skechers boots, for example. They do like to include that very jelly inner sole. This is not it. This actually does feel good. Now, another factor that contributes to the comfort level is the outsole. The outsole is fairly flexible. It's, as you can see, there's not a lot of play. So it is hard to run properly in this boot. You know, you do get a lot of impact going to your heels, transferring to your knees whenever you're running, because there's not a lot of play in the outsole. But nevertheless, again, for work boots, it is still pretty good. Overall, the comfort level feels pretty good. And another thing I wanted to mention, on the comfort level, speaking of the tongue, as you can see, there's a lot of cushioning in the tongue, and I do like that a lot. A lot of times you get a tongue which is just a piece of material, and then it rubs, basically. It rubs on your shins and it just feels uncomfortable. Here, there is enough padding on the tongue that you can really not wear any socks at all, and you know, this boots would still feel comfortable in the shaft because of all this padding on the ankles, on the tongue, and on the back, on the heel as well. So comfort level overall, whenever it comes to comfort level, I can give it a solid 7 out of 10. Obviously, you know, took off 3 points because of the lack of the flexibility of the outsole, of the extra weight. But overall for work boots, these are very comfortable. Okay, let's talk about the criteria number 2, which is proofing and protection. Now, this is where these boots definitely do shine. Proofing wise, as you guys can see, this is Gore-Tex, so these are GTX. Waterproofing, right? Obviously, a higher quality waterproofing than the regular Daner Dry, for example, which Daner uses in a lot of other waterproof boots that they have. Like I said, these are 100% leather, so you do have the protection and, you know, the durability that leather offers. Of course, because these are work boots, you do get the composite toe, which is obviously a necessity for a work boot. And of course, you do get your outsole, which we will talk about later, but you do have the oil resistance, slip resistance. You do have your heel protection, and because there is enough decent amount of padding here, and because this is leather, you have a very good ankle protection as well. So like I said, with all the weight that these boots come with, they do offer a lot of protection as well. Now let's talk about the criteria number 3, the quality and the design features. Now, quality wise, Daner, they are amazing. I never had any problems with any of the Daner boots, and I reviewed quite a lot of them already on this channel. People on Amazon do agree with me. They currently are rated at almost 5 stars with almost 300 reviews and growing every day. So these boots are popular. Definitely people do like them. And like I said in the very beginning of the review, as soon as you take it out of the box, you can feel the quality of the build. You can see that it's just made beautifully. Anyway, let's talk about the design features. One of the things that I wanted to point out in the design features is, you probably already noticed, there are open hooks, and there are 4 pairs of them. It's not very common that you see that, but I do like it. What it allows for some very quick putting on and taking off the boots, and usually it's not the case, especially with 8-inch, you know, full-size boots, right? But here it is actually easy to put them on because you can just open them up all the way very quickly because of the open hook design, which is very nice. Another reason why I like open hooks is that they allow for quick tension release. If you need to release a little bit tension on any parts of the shaft really quickly, you can definitely do that with open hook. As you can see, the hardware is a mix of plastic and metal. This is a heavy duty plastic, and then the buttons that hold these hooks in place are metal. So very good. Very good. Can't complain anywhere else. And like I mentioned already, the tongue is nicely padded. It is gusseted, as you can see, of course, because it's a waterproof, and you do have a nice amount. If you step in a creek that deep, you're not gonna get wet because they are waterproof, and the tongue is gusseted all the way pretty much up to the top of the shaft. Okay, so done with the quality and design features. Let's talk about the criteria number 4, which is the outsole traction and stability. Now, this is more of the flat outsole, which is obviously more applicable to surfaces like tile, marble, flat surfaces. On the sand, they do pretty good. I personally tested them on all of these surfaces, plus the tarmac, asphalt, the rocky road, the trail surface, wet grass, dry grass. All of these surfaces I tested them on, and they do perform better on flat surfaces. They were not as good on slippery surfaces like wet grass, because there isn't just enough aggression. But again, these boots are not designed for hiking situations. They're designed more for work situations, and they do perform on those surfaces very good. The oil resistance, slip resistance definitely does come into play. As you can see, this flat surfaces, that's what it's more applicable to. I do like the ridges here on the sides, which do help with, you know, if you are climbing the stairs, if you're climbing the rope or the tree, I don't know, whatever, you do get a good use from these ridges right here. Overall, I do wish that there were some grooves that had a little bit more aggression, so that this boot can be applied also for some hiking situations, just to give a little bit more of that balance that we're looking for, you know, to apply these boots in all of the different surfaces, but still a pretty good job with the outsole. Another thing that I wanted to mention with the outsole is very tough rubber on the bottom, so it will protect you from penetration if you step on something sharp. On the rocky road, I didn't feel anything sharp rocks. They just don't penetrate, you don't feel them at all underneath. However, I do, you know, one negative aspect of the outsole is I do wish it was a little bit more flexible. It would be really nice. Okay, so let's talk about the criteria number 5, which is the temperature. Now, I tested them in Florida heat. You guys already know I live in Florida. And they are very breathable. You know, for 100% leather, with all the protection that they offer, they are definitely breathable. And I was not overheating. So I do like them in hot weather. I do believe that in colder weather, they would be just fine as well, because, like I said, they're leather. They don't offer any insulation, but you know, with some insulated socks, you can probably get away with some really cold temperatures. And because they are waterproof, you can get away with these boots in the snow. The only thing I want to say is that on the ice, they're definitely not going to be good because of the flat surface. And you definitely want a lot of aggression whenever it comes to ice, and this is just not nearly enough of aggression, so keep that in mind. Okay, so let's talk about the criteria number 6 really quickly, the sizing. Like I said, they do run a little bit small, so get yourself half a size to a size bigger than what you normally wear. Criteria number 7 is the balance of application. So if this really was your last boot that you put on, would this really be a good survival boot? With one thing I wanted to mention here is this is a work boot, right? So a lot of people watching this review are considering this boot for work. And I think this is definitely a plus for this boot, because it means that, you know, if you work a full-time job, right, 8 hours a day, it means that you will be wearing this boot for 8 hours a day, every day. That's 40 hours a week if you're working 5 days a week. So if anything bad happens, any kind of survival situation comes up within those 40 hours out of the week, right? You are prepared. You are already wearing these boots. And this is a huge plus. A lot of, I say it in most of my boot reviews, is it's not the boot that you have at home, your survival boot, that you most likely end up wearing in your survival situation. It's the boot that you are wearing right now. And that may not be the boot. It may be the sneaker. You know, you might not be lucky. So wearing this boot as a survival boot, pretty good option, because this is a work boot and you're already wearing it. You're already wearing it 40 hours a week. So that's definitely a plus. Obviously, comfort level, I think it's great if you get it in the right size, and if it's not small. If it's small, you guys not gonna like it, because the composite toe, you know, if you have a boot that is a composite toe and you don't get the right size, you're gonna absolutely hate it. It's extremely important that you get the right size and a little bit extra for yourself so that your toe is not touching the front of the toe box, because composite toes, they are extra hard, you know. I think Daner did a pretty good job overall making that transition between the composite toe and the inside of the toe box, making it a little bit softer and nicer to the touch, but still it has to be in the right size so you can take advantage of it. The quality is good, the overall comfort level is great, they are waterproof, they do offer a lot of protection. The only negative aspect whenever it comes to the survival situation for this boot is the outsole, because it's not very applicable to a lot of terrains, and that's what we kind of need. Now, for work situations, you will like it, but you know, if you need to go through the trail surface, for example, you know, if you need to go through all of these different terrains, this outsole just might be a little bit too flat. Okay, so the very last criterion that we're gonna talk about here is criterion number 8, the price. The price currently on Amazon is $157.46. Price always changes on Amazon. The MSRP is actually $200 for this boots. I think $160 for this boots, definitely a fair price, considering that they are 100% leather, considering that they are Gore-Tex, and that they are from a good, well-known bootmaker like Daner. I think it's a definitely fair price. However, there are a lot of competition in this price range, so keep your eyes out if you're still looking for something. If you're looking for hiking boots, you might find a little bit better options in the hiking range. Not with the composite toe, with the whenever it comes to work boots, I think in the 160 range, this would be my choice for the work boots. I do like them that much, yes. But whenever it comes to hiking boots, there are a lot of options out there. So, this was the Daner Vicious review. Let me guys know what you think in the comments below. Would you consider them for your work boots? Would you consider them for your survival boots? If this review was useful, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. This is still a growing channel, so every subscriber definitely counts. We do giveaways on this channel for our subscribers every so often, so make sure to become part of it, so you can, you know, you guys are watching this, so you are you know, giving me views and all of that sort of stuff, the activity on my channel, so I want to give back to you guys as well. Thank you very much guys for watching. This was Firearms of America, and I'll see you guys in the next video.